Yo friends, Kenji back for some more drafting here on Magic Online, more Vintage Cube. Welcome Card Kingdom family. As always, you can check out cardkingdom.com/Numot for all of your favorite Magic cards. Let's jump right into our pack here and see what we want to do. Vintage Cube. You know what I haven't done lately? A good aggro deck. And we have some pretty nice aggro cards here. I think instead of taking some reasonable picks like Mind Twist or Teferi, I'm going to first pick this Eidolon of the Great Revel and plan on wheeling the Figure of Destiny or the Lelia. I think Lelia might be stronger than Figure, but it's so much easier to pick up 3-drops in red than it is 1 or 2s. But I think Figure is more likely to wheel than Eidolon, so we'll take the Eidolon here, see if we can do some nice red things as we pick up a second pick. What? Jite's pretty good. Factory's solid. Glorybringer's alright. And then like a Bombardment. I do like a good Jite. And in the red decks, or, well, I'll put it this way. Jite versus any creature decks is just game over the majority of the time. Now, as this is Vintage Cube, we could just run into some decks that don't care about Jite, but I think this is going to be a good enough choice for us. And yeah, alright, I've got a plan. We are going to cast red creatures that are cheap, red burn spells that are aggressive, and try to beat the players doing maybe better things. Uh-oh. That is not what we wanted to see. Only one card that's red in this pack. Well, only one full red card in this pack, and it is not great. Now, that doesn't mean that red is not open. This might just mean that red wasn't in this pack. So I don't think I'm supposed to get discouraged here. And I think I'm still just going to cut off the signal by taking the red card. This is, don't get me wrong, this is a hard force. We are hard forcing mono red right now. But again, I'm kind of in the aggressive mood, so let's see if this is going to pay off. As we move into pick number 4, we once again see no red cards. So I am going to be concerned if next pack there's no red, because I can still take this Sword of Fire and Ice here, and it'll still be pretty darn good in our deck. Retrofitter would also be fine, I'm sure, but if we don't see another red card in the next pack, that's the sign that we probably just want to bail and maybe go into like a mono white deck of sorts. But we'll take the Sword of Fire and Ice here and see if potentially the next pack has any red cards, because if they don't, we're gonna have to pivot despite trying to force it right off the bat. Okay, and I think somebody to our right is clearly forcing red, because once again there are no red cards in this pack. So I'm gonna make a quick little pivot here. I'm gonna take this Usher of the Fallen. I do think white aggro is better than red aggro in Vintage Cube. I just like the red aggro decks a little bit more, but clearly we cannot draft mono red if we're going to see no red cards in pack 1, and then presumably no red cards again in pack 3. So take the pivot, take the Usher. Upside about going white is because we already have 2 equipment. If we find Stoneforge Mystic, it is going to be super good for our decks. But anyways, we will just have to see what we end up getting past here. And now there are no white cards in this pack and a Voltaic Visionary, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. The best card in this pack is probably Thoughtseize. I suppose I could take Bitter Blossom here? I mean, Bitter Blossom with a couple of equipment's pretty nice, but this is really strange. I am not sure what's going on in this draft. So Visionary to maybe go back to red, Blossom to go into black, or Thoughtseize, which is just good interaction. I guess since we already have a red card, I'm going to take the red card here, but I'm not really thinking that's going to pan out. Okay, as we get a Student of Warfare now. So that's a solid choice for the white. Bergie's okay for red, but like I said, I can't imagine it's that open. And yeah, we get a Selfless Spirit here over no red card, so mono white aggro, maybe it is. The good news is this is only pack 1, so we can make this kind of pivot with no issue. What does this do again? Enchanted permanent is a vehicle artifact with crew 5 and it loses all its other card types. So it's like a creature removal. This enchants a creature or vehicle. Enchanted permanent is a vehicle artifact with crew 5. Yeah, that's good enough. It's not fantastic removal, but it's good enough removal. As we get a kitchen finks here. Passing a land tax. Alright, we are, once again, in good shape. Despite trying to force red and not getting red cards, we've already, gotten 7 white cards here. Still in pack 1. As we're just going to have to ship along all of these non-relevant cards. Ooh. There is a little bit of merit here to getting the opposition. For one, we're not going to really play either of these, I don't think. I mean, and maybe Ephemerate as a savior. No, I guess. The double blue on opposition is hard to cast without a bunch of fixing, and if we can get a few more creatures that have some synergy with Ephemerate, we can always just play it as like also a protection spell. So that seems fine. Rando pickups, and we go into pack 2. So Mox Pearl, Black Lotus, probably the top 2 opens. Sol Ring, sadly, not as good in these type of decks. Ooh, but we did open Hello Friend, Stoneforge Mystic. And that's exactly what I was talking about in pack 1. That's perfect. I'm gonna see a bunch of red cards this pack, but that's okay. We are fully committed now to the white, and yeah, Stoneforge was one of the better ones. Maybe not the card that we wanted to necessarily first pick, because I'm sure we can get this passed to us kind of late, but good enough for sure. Make sure we have it. Okay, getting past an Intrepid Adversary and a Mana Tithe. There goes a Bone Crusher Giant. Which one of these is better? I actually like Mana Tithe a little bit more than Adversary. I think both are good, but man, the interaction of Tithe is just so brutal. I think Adversary is probably replaceable, whereas Mana Tithe is not. Into a nice little Flicker Wisp here. 3 fetches, 3 nice fetches. And really not too much else, so don't expect to wheel anything out of that pack, but no big deal. Lion Sash. Sheesh, this pack is really weak, isn't it? The nice thing about Lion Sash is it is a pretty good sideboard card versus Reanimate decks. And there are other decks that want to utilize their graveyard, so while it's not the card we necessarily want to take here, it is a solid sideboard card, if nothing else. Man, what is going on? These packs are just so awkward, and I guess maybe this is what I get for trying to force some random mono-colored aggro decks, but now we have nothing here. I guess maybe if there's some random world where I end up in... Well, no, I'm more likely to end up in, I'd say, black-white. What if I just take that Vampiric Tutor and see what happens? Ah, Showdown, Ravages, Goldspan. This is what regret drafting feels like and looks like. We could definitely just take the Showdown of the Scalds. But I guess we'll take Ravages instead and keep with the mono-white theme. Okay. Could just be there wasn't much white opened. Ravages are going to be good. Blade Splicer is always a fantastic one, and we already picked up the Flicker Wisp anyways. I'm not a huge fan of Sword of Body and Mind, and we already have 2 equipment for Stony, so no big deal there. Okay, Spellbinder here too. Nice, nice, nice. Confidence is going back up again. Just feels like we might have been unlucky with the opens. And I think we're going to get really hooked up on white cards in pack 3 once we start getting past 2 from the person that's taking all the red cards. So, actually, you know what? I think the Ephemerate might already be playable now. So is that O-Ring? Lovely. Yeah, Spellbinder, Blade Splicer, Flicker Wisp, Kitchen Finks, Stoneforge Mystic with Ephemerate works. And we can just use it as a protection spell. So, oddly, Ephemerate not too bad here. Let's see, we have 2 1-drop creatures, 2 2-drop creatures, 4 3-drops. So we want to get some more 1s and 2s if possible. But yeah, I'm digging it. And would you look at that? We wield Mr. Adversary, so I am happy, happy, happy. Wall of Omens, that's never going to be played here. I guess Verdant Catacombs for like a Godless Shrine, maybe, if we end up playing the Vampiric somehow. Alright, a bunch of cards that don't matter. So we're going to need to find like 7 or 8 playables in pack 3, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Ooh, that Showdown is an interesting splash potential as well, actually. Yeah, for sure. If you're going to splash a card in your white deck, that is the type of card you want to splash for. Okay, pack 1 and 2 down, pack 3 to go. And what are these opens? We opened a Winds of Abandon and that's it? Again, this just feels crazy unlucky. I guess I'm going to take it because there's literally nothing else in the pack here for us. Wow, that is really brutal. Sometimes things don't go your way. But when things don't go your way, you just got to keep trotting along. Gideon here, I think over Lurrus makes sense. Gideon's just a little bit too strong. And the Lurrus, I think, has a higher chance of wheeling. Yeah, good 4-drop there. A couple more creatures would be nice. A couple more early game creatures, and I think we have ourselves a stew. And the next pack gives us a good one. Giver of Runes here over Solitude, I think is what we want to do. Yeah, just a little bit too important to be able to protect your creatures early, and this is... If they don't kill your Giver of Runes, or if you're lucky enough, Mother of Runes early enough, then you're usually sitting pretty good. As we pick up a Wandering Emperor here versus Selesnya Signet. Yeah, not too great, but another Planeswalker seems good. Biggest issue I have is that this looks like a Legacy Cube deck, and well, that's not to say I can't do well with this deck. I feel like we're less likely to do well with this deck. Yeah, Revoker's nice. This is the type of creature that you're kind of looking for. Something that can stop the busted decks from being able to do something, you know. Walking Ballista's pretty good. Mutavault, Oust also fine. I guess with Ballista, we're never going to have much mana to invest into it. But it is a mana sink, if nothing else. And I still need a couple more playables, so that's probably fine. Probably going to need to run that Winds of Abandon too. Geist of Saint Traft, Hangerback Walker, Coalition Relic. What are these cards doing? I suppose Hangerback's the only one I might consider playing. Ideally not, though. I was pick 7, so if we could get one more good playable, be happy enough with it. Oh, but we did not. There's an Inspiring Vantage for the Showdown, but yikes. I mean, if I had to rate this deck, it's probably like a 3 out of 10. It's going to have enough playables, and that's about the extent of it. Oh, yeah, as we're really not getting the cards we need. So, I mean, there's the Lurrus as expected, but that does not make me confident about the deck, let me tell you that. Well, this is a good lesson, if nothing else. This is why you don't force specific archetypes. You should still draft what's open, even if you're playing a format as strong as Vintage Cube. Because though you'll end up with enough playables just because of the amount of playables, it's not great. Or rather, you might not end up in a good spot, and I don't think we did. But who knows? Anything can happen in Magic. We could play against some, you know, weak combo decks, weak control decks, and we certainly can get some good draws. So definitely going to try our best, as I think we just add 17 lands and call it good. Usually you want to run like 16 in these decks, but I don't know if I have anything I'd want to put in over, say, the 17th land. I don't think we want Lion Sash. I don't think we want Hangerback. So 17 planes. And that is something you will not see very frequently from me in any limited environment, but especially Cube. No non-basics. Let's go to round 1. Okay, here we are for round 1 of this vintage Cube draft with our our lovely mono white deck. Our opponent's on the play with the turn 1 Library of Alexandria. I can't say I'm too happy about that, but yeah, so they're going to be playing a much more unfair deck than what we're running, so I'm just going to have to YOLO here and go for it. My plan is to just curve out into Ravages of War and hope they don't have anything relevant on the battlefield when I do go for that. I don't think there's much of an option here. I mean, it is a good game plan, don't be wrong. Don't get me wrong. They must have a 2-drop already. Yep, okay. And we are just going to keep the pressure going. Drew both of our equipment as well, so if we draw Stoneforge, it's going to be a little bit awkward, but what can you do? Pray they don't have a Wrath here. Just a Worn Power Stone tapped. Okay, I think this is a great opportunity just to fire off the Ravages then. Nice. Yeah, they obviously have access to mana still, but hopefully, especially taking off their blue mana, we can slow them down enough. Wait, what? Lingering Souls. Okay. Well, now we just attack with both of these, and the Giver of Runes does some good stuff for us. Pro white. And they can flash back the Lingering Souls with the Signet, but ooh, sort of feast and well, they can't equip that. They need to flash back, yeah. And so what we want to actually do here is give the Intrepid Adversary, I think, pro white off the bat. And then attack with everything here. They have to chump and trade. They go to 2. We're going to definitely make a 1/1 here. And then, yeah, hope they don't have a Wrath. If they traded with Kitchen Finks, it's likely they have a Wrath, or that they're hoping to draw a Wrath. But we got them! Okay. Very nice. Sometimes things work out. Like I said, if we draw well, you know, anything is possible. And I mean, we went 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop into Ravages of War, so the ideal scenario. This is where we sadly look at our sideboard and say, well, I guess we don't have anything, and then resubmit it back. On to game number 2 here of round 1. Ugh, I have to mulligan that hand and hope to find something better. This is, wow. not better, but I guess I'm going to keep it in hope. We'll pitch the Winds of Abandon here. I would say we are very, very unlikely to win this game unless I can rattle off a 2-drop into 3-drop or something. Turn 2 Signet from them, yeah. Yeah, this is bad. They have the Signet into Power Stone again. Okay. I'm going to O-ring the Power Stone this turn, I think. Take away 2 of their mana. I think O-ringing the Power Stone makes more sense than playing out the Spellbinder, because they could have multiple, you know, big spells that they could cast off of the Power Stone, whereas if I just take the Power Stone, they don't have access to potentially 6 mana this turn, you know? Wow, they just have a lot of mana. Okay, well, slam the Planeswalker and hope this is good enough. Revoker would have been good here, for sure. They have a Mox Pearl, too? Jeez Louise. Turns out Ravages of War is not great versus this opponent. They have a Gideon. Okay. And they uptick. Well, I can hit their Gideon for 7, but not 8, so I think what we want to do here is Spellbinder, see what they have before deciding. They have a Teferi. Oh, they can just Wrath? Man. So I guess there's no way that I can keep my Gideon here, eh? So I guess I'll take the Wrath of God. And go ahead, just hit their Gideon for a 7. Play out the Jite and pass. And that way, if they want a Wrath and they don't draw land, they'll have to tap the Monolith, but this is looking pretty bad for us. Because I'm expecting them to probably just Wrath and then attack Gideon. Yep. And now uptick. Attack, kill mine. So I need to draw a creature here, preferably a cheap one. That will do just fine, actually. Huh. What happens if I Ravages here? They only have access to this. Ravages, then play Ballista. They uptick. It would be on 3. Then I would attack for 1. That wouldn't work. I could just Ravages. I feel like I need to Ravages here, because playing Ballista on, like, I don't know if that's good enough. This would uptick to 5. Yeah, all right. Not great, but I think this is going to win long term. Win more likely long term than the other option, that is to say. Now, okay, well, if the opponent just rips a bunch of land, then it doesn't matter anyways. It's too bad. But I think we had to make that line. All right, we'll just concede it up here because they get to untap Monolith and then play their Teferi. So good beats. Brutal, 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 brutal. So close. Yep. Run it back and go to game 3. I mean, we could bring in the Hangerback Walker knowing that they have Wrath. I guess we could cut Winds of Abandon. It's probably a slightly better play. At least getting left with 1 token or something. Okay, game 3 of the first round. Pretty good looking hand on the play here. Maybe we can even Mana Tithe something on turn 1 if we're lucky. I think I have to play the Stoneforge on turn 2, which sucks since we know they have so many 2-mana rocks, but going to grab our sword is just a little bit too good here, I think. So let's hope not to run into Grim Monolith or something from them. But if they do have Monolith, we'll just O-ring it. I won't O-ring a Signet, but I would definitely O-ring Monolith. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, that we need to really deal with that. I think getting the GT online's a little bit too slow. And now we'll just pass here. Holding up Mana Tithe and activation. I don't really care if they memory. Yeah, I'm going to let the memory resolve, because we know they have 2 huge planeswalkers on 5 mana. Right? They have Teferi and they have Gideon. So I think best case scenario here would be for them to play land, play one of their 5 drops. I Mana Tithe it. I Stoneforge Mystic in an equipment. And then I go Ravages and hope to draw Ravages land, hope to draw a land in the next couple of draw steps to equip the Sword of Fire and Ice. Oh, you know what? I could have also... This was silly. I should have just played out the Sword of Fire and Ice and attacked for 1. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. They did play one of their 5 mana. And now we get to poop out the sword. Okay. I want to Ravages this turn, but I think we're equipping. And then we can just Revoker the Pearl. And passing. Hopefully they don't have another white source for Wrath. Come on, nothing relevant. Lingering Souls, okay. Let's just attack. And I think we do fire off the Ravages now, because we have a second land. So Ravages land, pass. They can't use the Pearl because the Revoker. And boom, baby! I think we got him. They have to block here, otherwise they're just throwing away. Okay. Let's go. And I think they're just going to concede. Nice. Woohoo! We got the first round. And every time it was due to Ravages. Okay, well, we just need to do that a couple more times and get lucky. Let's go. On to round number 2 of this vintage cube. We have won the die roll. And this hand is not great, but I'm going to keep it. I mean, we have a creature removal, a revoker for like a random, ooh yeah, for like a Chrome Mox now. Okay. Turn 1 is its signet. Sure. Well, I think we just revoker the Chrome Mox. Because we know they're playing black. We don't know if they're playing red. This could just be a white or a blue-red signet in their deck. Oh, well, looks like they are in fact playing red. Not much else to do here, so we'll go ahead and Ballista on 1, even though that's really sad. We do have a combo here, though, the Wandering Emperor with Walking Ballista. Can start putting counters on it. And I don't think I'm going to run my Wandering Emperor until their turn with a counter. Okay. This is good. Lots of synergy here. We are just all in. They're going to die next turn if they don't have anything. Hey! Like I said, Phyrexian Revoker. The bee's freaking knees. That's how we do. Turned off their presumably only black source, and they had a bunch of junk in their hand, apparently. So, yeah. All right, let's run it back. Can we keep the magic flowing? That is the real question. Move on to game number 2 here of the second round. Oh, these are some funny games. Yeah, I'm going to have to mulligan that one. One more land in would be nice, but can't keep a 1-lander. We're going to keep a very sad 6-card hand here. Need to find some early creature pressure, but that's good enough, I guess. No shock, no signet then. Just too important to get on the board, so we're going to play out a 2-mana 3/1. As they have a Kaito, okay. And they are going to make a token, interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It blocks the adversary. So they're looting before attacking, which means they're probably not attacking or they're reanimating. I'm guessing that they just don't want to attack the ninja, yeah. Chalice on 1. Ashiok now too, yeesh. So we can't quite kill both their planeswalkers. What did they eat? Mystic and Giver of Runes. But what I can do is effectively kill their token. O-ring the Ashiok. And then smack down. Pass? Okay, well, I'm going to attack and hope that nothing bad happens to me here. Don't get your hopes up. Could be a Shark Typhoon for... Oh, defensive through the breach. Whoa! Alright, that's awesome. They wipe my board and deal me 6. Interesting. We're going to hold 2 lands in our hand. for Ravage purposes. I mean, they were only one swamp away from casting that, so I like their idea, though. They just needed the pressure. Or rather, the stabilization. Play out the Finks. Gain 2 and boast. Wanted to boast after playing Kitchen Finks in case they had like a miscalc. Makeshift Mannequin. Alright, so they get to reanimate their Massacre Worm. Deal me another 6. I mean, they're going to do it anyways, but we might as well force the action. Yep. That's fine. It's hard for them to attack, though, if they don't have anything. Okay, so they must already have an answer. Otherwise, that's a really bad play. Ah, Time Warp. Yeah, that'll do it. But they still need something. Like, if they just have 2 bricks in their hand, they still can't attack. Ancient Tomb. That doesn't do it. They're pretty close to activating Shelldock, though, so hopefully we can find something before that. That's not going to do us any good. And now they get to memory. Yeah. That should probably lock up the game. Because memory is also going to unlock their Shelldock Isle. So we're probably going to go to a game 3. After seeing Makeshift Mannequin, we probably need to bring in our Lion Sash. Which, well, not a great card. Probably good enough. Yep, I'm not going to block. I mean, there's no way I can win if I block. But obviously, there's probably no way I can win anyways. Oh, they have Time Walk and Time Warp. Okay. So their deck is definitely a lot higher power level than ours, but that's not to say we can't win. We're just going to need one of those Ravages draws. Just take out Ephemerate here. We'll also be on the play here, so a little luck, and we can probably get them. Game 3 here of round 2. On the play with an acceptable hand. The real question is going to be, how do I sequence this? We're obviously going to play the Student of Warfare on turn 1, but do I want to be holding open Mana Tithe on turn 2? Probably not. We're probably just going to double level on turn 2. And go from there. But the ideal scenario, I guess, is that we would draw like a 2-drop on turn 3. So anytime I don't anytime I don't invest into the Student of Warfare, though, it's kind of telling that I have something in my hand, you know? But maybe that's not maybe that's unavoidable. Wow, are they going to do something again on turn 2? Kaito Time Walk? Kaito Signet? I think I just have to level here. Hope they don't do anything this turn. It's too awkward just to like level up once and pass. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. So I'm going to level up twice, say go, holding open a very obvious Mana Tithe, and I'm probably going to counter the memory here. Reason being is they only have 2 cards in their hand after this, and we have a really good Ravages set up. does this one do again? They become the monarch, and I have to sack a creature. Ah. Well, that does not feel good. They get to draw a bunch of extra cards. Oh, we need them to have nothing in their hand. I feel like Custody Lich shouldn't be that good versus me either. Uh-oh, what do they have now? Well, that's not good. But they didn't hold open red. Oh, okay. So they get to draw an extra card here. That's a nice one, actually. That's a really good draw. Huh. Very interesting. I mean, I think we just hope that they don't find a fatty. Like shoot this, shoot this. They have to block. Hope that they don't hit something for sneak attack this turn. And then ravage them. Liliana, that's fine. So attack face. Okay, they did find a sneak attack hit. Venser, the sword. Damn it. Okay, so we... Wait. My walking ballista is a 0/0. Oh, that's so bad. It's a 0/0 with -2/-1, so I can't even give it +1/+1 once they bounce the equipment. Dude, are you for real? And they just get to retain the damn monarch this way. There's nothing I can do about that. Huh. Yeah, I guess I can't do anything about that. Just have to let it die. Play sword and pass. Now we are dead. Brutal. So now they're going to memory end of turn. They get to draw an extra card as well. Okay, that's not a terrible draw. Guess I'm going to play the land and equip and say go. There's no chance for me to eat the memory because they just get to do it in response. We're shooting probably a super low percentage here, right? We need them to brick on memory, brick on Shelldock Isle, brick on basically everything. I wonder if I would have won if I had saved the Mana Tithe. We would have been able to Mana Tithe their Custody Lich. That honestly might have done it. Well, we'll find out here. They've got 5 cards in their hand and an active Shelldock Isle. Yeah, here we go. And that's the game, because I have to sacrifice my creature, right? All right, good beats. GG's. GG's, yeah. That match was going to be too hard for us. I mean, again, our deck's pretty bad. We needed to get really lucky, and might have thrown it by Mana Tithing the memory, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Go to round 3. All right, the third and final round of the Vintage Cube here with our stinky mono white aggro. On the draw, sadly, versus, turn 1 Inquisition. Well, given... Oh, they did take the 1-drop. I was going to say, maybe they take the GT, but we'll find out. It's a me. So we still want to cast Stoneforge on turn 2 to go thin out our deck of the sort of Fire and Ice. Thankfully, we didn't draw it there. Jundland, huh? Into an Ophiomancer. Very nice. I don't think we need to O-ring or anything that. I think we'll just pass here. And set up for Stoneforge activation. Oracle of Moldiah now. Interesting. They did hit a land immediately, too. Okay. I don't think they're going to attack, yeah. So let's get GT online. Because the GT don't quite, as they say. And then let's go ahead and equip. Go to attacks. Yep. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Ophiomancer first. We're going to leave their Oracle on the battlefield for another turn. I think that's okay. And I'm just going to hard cast the Intrepid Adversary without leveling it up at all. So they might get a couple land values here, but looks like they didn't. That Liliana is also super awkward for us. What was that? Witherbloom command? Jeez. Into a Gonti. Okay. Well, things are looking pretty rough already. Damn. Gonna need to find another creature here. Flicker Wisp. See, that's not very good when we know our opponent's drawing a Liliana. So I guess what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna Winds of Abandon the Oracle, shuffle away their Liliana, and then go ahead and play out the Flicker Wisp. And hope they don't draw a removal spell for it, because then next turn, if they don't kill the Flicker, we get to go Sword, Equip, Attack, shoot them for 2, and draw an extra card. Now, they did steal something with Gonti, but Most of the cards in my deck aren't super relevant anyways. Alright, so they're looks like they're just straight up the rock. One card in hand, one card in exile. Wow, Lurrus was another really good draw here. In fact, what I think I do is I just attack for 3. They know I have the sword in my hand anyways. And then we can go Lurrus. And let's get back the Student of Warfare first. Actually, no. Let's get the Jite first. They stole the Wandering Emperor from me. That makes sense. Why they didn't cast anything. And they're going to make a token. Interesting. Huh. Pretty surprised they didn't exile my flyer or uptick there. Do they already... Are they saying they already have an answer to... the flyer? Yeah, I'm going to take 5. O-Ring the Wandering Emperor is also really good for us too. Ah. Well then. Okay. So let's start off by equipping the Flicker Wisp here. Attacking the Wandering Emperor. Pray they don't have removal. Good. Now we can play out the Student of Warfare. And O-Ring the Grave Titan. Okay, this is still alright. Yeah, Lurrus here saving the day. Alright, so we can block here. Give that -1/-1. So we're only taking 4 damage in essence. Oh, that Ravages is surprisingly good. I could also just play out a huge adversary here, but it's got to be safer to Ravages. There it is. Whew! Got him. Very nice. We got a little bit lucky. They definitely flooded out a bit. But hey, like I said, this deck needs to get lucky to win, so... Can we pull off a 2-in-1? We're 1 game away from doing so, and I don't think Hangerback or Lionite, or whatever, not Lionite, Diamond, Lion Sash are coming in here, so we'll just resubmit, cross our fingers, and say, let's go, baby. On the draw, I think this is a keep. We know they have an Inquisition or whatever, but I'm running 17 lands already anyways, so... Come on, deck, give me a land off the top. Please, please, please. Chalice on 1. Land? Oof, regret. Well, that's not great. Got him with the Mana Tithe here, though, which is nice, of course. Alright, land means we can revoke the Chalice. I'm sure I'm going to regret not... actually, in fact, I'm going to leave back the Giver of Runes now, since we know they have a Liliana. Garrick. Yeah. Okay, they're untapping. That's fine. And they took the GT. Sure. So let's attack Garrick for 2. And then play out Adversary and say go. We can beat a Grave Titan, though it's not going to be great for us. Yeah, there it is. So we give the Adversary Pro Black. And then swing in at Garrick for 3. And I think I just like casting Winds of Abandon on the Grave Titan here. Save the Swift reconfiguration for later, makes sense. It's not like they can utilize the land all that well anyways, it doesn't appear. Hey, wait a minute, that makes my Ravages terrible. Alright, I am going to get a little bit aggressive now. That is to say, I'm going to attack with Adversary, and if they block, I'm going to give it Pro Black and tap the Giver of Runes to do so. Now, I think it's still going to be correct to fire off Ravages next turn, because, yeah, while they have a Crucible, it's awkward. I think it still makes sense to take them off of that much mana. So hopefully there's nothing huge here that happens. Or if they... Okay, this is fine. Or if they do, it's just some random creature that we get to Swift reconfigure. But now, I mean... This might just be over with Ravages. This was the most important card in our deck, for sure. Because our deck was so low power level, Ravages was the only way we could do anything here. So yeah, I'm going to go for it. End of turn, reconfigure into Ravages. Let's go. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, put them on a 2-turn clock. Just a little bit of interaction. I think we got lucky to pull off a 2-1 even, but we were kind of close to pulling off a 3 winners with... I mean, like I said, I think Mono White is the best aggro deck. Indeed. You're watching on the Card Kingdom YouTube channel. But yeah. Just had to have some good interaction, some cheap spells, and had to get very lucky. So, pulled off a 2-1. Not upset with this Mono White deck doing so. And as I was saying, I think Mono White is the best aggressive deck in the format in Vintage Cube. Better than Mono Red, that is to say. So, got our money back. Pulled off a 2-1. Had some interesting games. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out all of my other content here on the Card Kingdom YouTube channel. And we will see you back next time. Take it easy.